Hi guys, welcome to Purposewalk Podcast, where we interview thought leaders walking in their divine purpose. And I am really, really lucky today to have on my podcast, in my sofa, on my stage, Anthony President, who is an amazing person, somebody I've come to know, who I know that he's in the US and he travels the world training corporate managers and leaders. And I'm really chuffed, as we say here in Britain, to have him as an amazing speaker at Purposewalk. Anthony, welcome to Purposewalk Podcast. How are you?
Excellent, Ava. Thank you so much for having me.
It is our absolute pleasure. I must tell you, Anthony, one of the things that I get a lot from people, whether sensible or otherwise, and I'm being honest, is he related to the president?
All the time also.
You do, right? So it's not just us here in Britain, correct?
No, I get it everywhere.
Fantastic. And is there any truth to that? Is it just a name, or I'm just putting your leg, but are you related?
No. It actually was a name created by my father, who, and that's a long story in and of itself, who was not the greatest of guy, but you talk about this whole concept of purpose. Mm-hmm. He actually changed his name to President, and he wanted to be president of like the underworld or president of like the streets. And he was a street guy, criminal. So when I became of age and recognized what it is that he did, I said, you know what, I'm going to make the name a positive name. And instead of being president of something bad, I'm going to try to be someone that's a good person. So actually, when you talk about this whole concept of purpose and names, it was meant in his eyes to be something negative, but I decided to keep the name as I got older because I wanted to make it into a good name and have a good reputation. So I wanted the name to mean something. So, that's kind of the purpose in that name, is to take something that was meant to be negative and make it positive.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I think especially when you are here in the UK, we call, you're Afro-Caribbean or you're African, there's so much in a name. And one of the things that happens here in the UK very often is that, especially people of African descent who've got African surnames, one of the things that some of them, not all of them, some are very proud of their names, some tend to hide it, not because they want to, but because of the fact that they get discriminated against because of their names. What a name to have. President. I'm sure when you turn up at places, people think you're just joking sometimes, correct?
Oh, yeah, I get that quite a bit too.
Wow. Well, Anthony, thank you, Anthony President, on Purposewalk Podcast. And we're really, really glad to have you here. We love the American accents that you guys have. It's so different. So thank you for being here. Anthony, tell my listeners a little bit about who you are, what you do now, but previously, in your previous life, what were you about and what are you about now?
Yes. Well, friends, I am so excited to have an opportunity to share with you all. And let me say this, this whole concept of purpose, coming from the east side of Cleveland, living in an impoverished area, father in prison, the odds were really stacked against me. And there were points in my very young life where I thought about going a gang route and going in the streets. And I recognized that, that really wasn't my purpose. It may have been other family members' purpose. It may have been what other people saw for me. But I recognized that, that just is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to add to our culture. I wanted to add to our society as opposed to be a disruptive force in the society. So believe it or not, I decided to become a social worker after undergrad. And that gave me an opportunity to work in the very community where I grew up, high crime, high gang violence. And it gave me an opportunity to be a part of the solution. And it was really great work. I learned a lot about myself. I love the social sciences, social work, psychology, sociology. And it was a really great experience for me. But I always loved speaking, though. It was great to engage people and help move people to their greater selves on an individual basis. But I always loved speaking in front of groups. I always loved teaching. So after working there for a number of years, I got promoted to senior training officer, which made me responsible for training the staff and foster parents and community partners. So that got me to the whole training piece and really taught me how to take ideas and convey those ideas to the people such that they could take root and people can grow. So it was a really great experience. But after doing that for a few years, I thought, you know what? I really want to talk to a wider group. I want to talk to corporations. I want to talk to executives. I want to talk to salespeople. But I recognized that in order to do this, I needed some capital. I needed to have some experience in the corporate arena. So I left social services to work in the private sector in sales. And I sold steel. I sold engineering components until ultimately I managed the department of salespeople for the largest facility services company in the United States. And it was great. But again, I realized my purpose was to share ideas. So I decided, I really do want to have a platform by which I can help move people to their greater selves. And I thought presidential consultants, again, taking the name president and trying to make it into something positive.
Wow.
I want to have a vehicle by which I could talk to everyone. I could talk to students. I could talk to government officials. I could talk to corporations. I could talk to salespeople. So President's Consultants was birthed upon the idea that everybody needs essential soft skills. And we all have technical skills and knowledge that we use, whether we're selling something or whether we're motivating people. There's technical skills that go along with it. And those things are great, but they need to be complemented by soft skills. So I learned a lot of really cool stuff in the human service arena. I learned a lot of really cool stuff in the business arena. So I amalgamated those ideas into a set of soft skills that I thought can really be great to help move people to their greater selves. So I've been doing that for 16 years now.
Wow.
This year, year 17, it's been a lot of fun. I get a chance to talk to thousands of people every single year. And I truly don't work a day in my life because I'm doing something I believe I was destined to do. And it's just so great to hear the feedback of people tell me about how their lives have been changed and how folks have been moved. So it's just really a great experience for me. I enjoy every single day, and I love the folks that I have an opportunity to impact.
Anthony, you know what? Thank you for that. I can hear the passion in your voice. And what an amazing, a turnaround, if you want to call it that, because you said you're from a family where your father went to jail. And you could have chosen that pathway. And your father had chosen the name president because he wanted to kind of own the streets. And you looked at it and you thought, hold on a minute, I'm going to break the cycle. I'm going to break this cycle right here. And I'm going to change my path. I'm not going to accept the life I was born into, but I'm going to create my own. And you went searching doing so many different things. And now you actually impact a lot of people, including, you said, students, which is the grassroots of the next generation. And so I think that's amazing stuff right there. The fact that somebody like yourself, because you decided that you're going to choose a different pathway, impact millions. And I'm just thousands, millions, whatever the number may be. We are just glad that you are here on Purposewalk Podcast. For those of us who are just joining, you're listening to the Purposewalk Podcast, where we interview thought leaders who are walking in their purpose. And I'm really excited to have on this podcast, this moment, if you're just joining me, Anthony President, who chose a different pathway from his father to now impact millions and thousands around the world by training them soft skills to success. And Anthony, I know what soft skills to success are, but for somebody who's just joining us now, could you give us, a little simple explanation or examples of what that is? Because not everybody, what I've come to learn, and you probably find this as well, Anthony, not everybody understands things that we think are simple sometimes.
Right.
So what are soft skills to success in your own layman's term?
Excellent point, Ava. I think a great way to analogize it, if you think about a finely engineered machine, it's got its engineered components, it's got different parts to it. They all are designed to run together well. However, if you don't have oil, the finest tuned machine is going to ultimately break down. You need that oil to lubricate the parts, to help them do what they were designed to do. And I think soft skills in many ways are kind of like the oil in our machines. I think that whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are a thought leader, someone that is the birth person of a movement, you have technical skills and knowledge that allow you to do what it is that you do. However, if we don't have essential soft skills, if we don't have that oil, our ideas and the things that we want for our society, for the people that we're trying to impact, we may not be as effective. So soft skills complement our technical skills and knowledge, very much the way like oil complements an engineered machine.
Wow, thank you. I like that because all of the components are necessary. And how I would think of soft skills in my little layman's term is that you buy this nice house, it has all the furniture in it, and you just need that interior decorator to come in
Right.
and say, let's put that pillar there, let's do this curtain, let's paint the wall that color to give it that impact to pull everything together. Would that make sense?
That's it.
Awesome. Amazing. Anthony, I can't wait for you to come to London because I know you are involved in Purposewalk.
Yes.
And I know that you have a lot that you are going to be sharing with us. But before we even jump into that, tell me, Anthony, and I know you've been asked this a lot of times, if you were not doing, which we know is your passion, which we know is your purpose, but if you weren't doing this, what do you think is likely that you would be doing?
I tell you, I find myself being a teacher, even as a little kid. I found myself being a teacher at heart, because the truth is, I do believe that just as in other people saw things in me that I didn't see in myself, I think that teachers, good teachers, in so many ways, that's essentially what they do. They're able to look at a student and say, "Listen, I'm pretty good at this, but if you did this or this or this, or if you change your thinking, or if you were able to more effectively manage your emotions, you could become this." And I think that I would be a classroom teacher, because it was classroom teachers that really recognized, "Hey, listen, Anthony, you're headed towards the wrong path. Anthony, you're too pretty to go to jail. You really need to make some changes." Okay, Ava, you gonna let me have that one?
I'm gonna. You're quite handsome, so I'm gonna let you go on that one, Anthony. You can go.
Anthony, you're too pretty to go to jail. You don't have to do the same things other family members did. So I think I would do that because, I have a passion for young people. And I think that, our entire future is based upon them. So if I wasn't dealing with adults and helping adults move to their greater selves, I think I would be a classroom teacher.
We have something in common there. You said something that really hit it for me. And I have this coin of words that I say, a teacher can break you or make you. A teacher has got so much. They're parent in absentia. And very often, not all teachers are good teachers. We know that. But the few who are good can really literally change your whole pathway. And that's one of the things that happened for me, like you. A teacher saw in me what I didn't see myself and kept telling me that, "Ava, you're better than this. Ava, you can do this." And here are two examples of thought leaders walking in their purpose because teachers had impact. But Anthony, I'm really convinced, because I see what you do, and you are teaching. You might not be teaching in a same classroom every day, but you are, in fact, teaching. You're helping to do what your teachers saw in you through other people and different medium. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. Don't you think?
Yes. And that's what it's about. The thing is, I'm so excited to be a part of this event, Purposewalk, because everybody has a purpose inside them. But sadly, if that purpose is not encouraged, if people are not challenged to bring that purpose out, there are people that may not be able to ever see that manifest itself in the real world. And it just stays buried in their hearts, buried in their minds, but it's never birthed. And I do think that we need other people to believe in us, other people to cheer us, other people to support us in us trying to reach that purpose.
I totally believe that as well. And Les Brown says, or I think it's his son, one of them says that the richest place on earth is not the diamond fields at all or the gold mines. It's the graveyard, because too many of us die and we've never been able to execute. We ignite it sometimes, but we have not been able to execute our purpose. And that's the whole point of Purposewalk. Purposewalk is about literally becoming awakened. Because before we start walking in our purpose, we have to become awakened. We have to understand why we're here. What do we want to do now that we're here? And once we recognize those two things, then we start shifting towards finding out how do we walk into purpose. And I know that you're going to deliver. In London, we kind of say we're going to drop it like it's hot here. On stage, you're going to be delivering some hardcore stuff to us, which we need. because Purpose Walk has business people coming who are really hungry and ready to say enough is enough. It's the middle of the year and they have not achieved what they want to achieve, and they're tired and they want a fresh outlook on people who are saying, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to also show you, but I'm going to hold your hand and guide you. What are some, and don't give away too much now, Anthony, what are some of the things that we can expect you to be talking about at Purpose Walk?
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm going to talk about 5 essential soft skills. There's many, but I want to talk about 5. And one of them is actually time management, believe it or not. There are people right now that have great ideas to form a movement, great ideas to start a business. But just as they think about these great ideas, they shoot themselves down and thinking, I don't have enough time. I've got to work. I've got to take care of kids. So I want to share some ideas about some basic time management tactics that I think can be very beneficial and is just so key. Because if we don't make time, because the truth is we do have time. We get the same 24-hour container every single day. There is time. So I want to take a look at some nuts and bolts strategies that we can use to increase our time to recapture an additional 1.5 to 3 hours every single day with just using a few simple steps. So I want to talk about time management, but also would like to talk about people management. And the truth is we need people. We need people to help us. We need to effectively work with people. And people management is one of those soft skills that if you're born with it and you're a naturally good communicator, chances are you do pretty well. But if you don't have it, you have to learn how to team with other people. You have to learn how to negotiate. You have to learn how to resolve conflicts, because as we're trying to work with other people, there will always be conflicts. And those are not necessarily bad. But if we effectively resolve those conflicts, a lot of really great things can come. And the third essential soft skill I want to talk about, and maybe the most important, is thought management. You know, you talked about thought leaders. And the truth is we are our thoughts. Think about 60,000 thoughts a day on average. If our thoughts are all about status quo, despair, I can't do it, there is no way our behaviors ultimately will be the same. It's really about trying to get rid of those thoughts that don't serve us, those thoughts that diminish us, and change them with thoughts of hope, thoughts of prosperity. So I want to take a look at some strategies to help with our thought management. The fourth essential skill is social capital management. Wow. No matter who you are, all of us have a village. We have a village of support. People who love us, people who we love, that can be that shoulder to cry on, that can be people we can bounce ideas off on, people that can be mentors to us, morale pals. But so often we don't reach out and let other people know what it is that we're doing. There are people right now in our village that will help us if only they knew we needed them. So it's all about using the social capital that we all have. And the fifth essential skill I want to talk about is emotional management. As human beings, we're the same emotional creatures that our ancestors were 50,000 generations ago. And emotions are not bad. They're impulses to act. However, the wrong types of emotions can really get us failure or status quo. If we find ourselves drowning and dwelling in sadness, despair, anxiety, chances are that's going to negatively impact our ability to move to our greater selves.
Yeah.
So we are emotional creatures. So I want to share a few ideas about effectively managing our emotions. And when we do feel these emotions, what can we do to turn those emotions around so that they become more positive? So those are the 5 essential skills that I want to dig into, that I think that if you complement them with your hard skills, your technical knowledge, I think it can make us that much more effective.
Anthony, I felt like I was sitting down at Purpose Walk. Really, and I'm not just joking. I felt like I was sitting down in Purpose Walk and I was literally being poured into by you. And I can only imagine what people are going to get, because you touched some really, really crucial things. You said our thoughts become who we are, essentially. Our thoughts are really, really important. And you talked about emotional IQ, in a nutshell, how we handle our emotions can impact how we grow or we don't grow. And the reality is a lot of us don't even know how to handle the conflicts and conflict resolution. So, we have disagreements and we think that is the end of a relationship. And I just can't wait for you to come, because in this space, there are so many conflicts among thought leaders, who steal whose idea, who didn't collaborate well, and the list goes on. And it's how we can literally tap into our greater selves, as you said, and learn to control these soft skills and channel them in the right direction to ensure that we are maximizing and living to the truest person that we are meant to be. We the change maker, the change agent, the revolutionary people that we can be. But we need these soft skills. Oh, Anthony, I can't wait for Purpose Walk to come. And if you're listening to this podcast and you have not yet grasped your tickets for Purpose Walk, you need to go to www.purposewalk.com. Anthony, we're literally winding down and I'm just enjoying this conversation so much. But I want you to tell our listeners, literally, what makes your soft skills, what makes President's Consultancy different from anybody else who's offering? Because there are going to be people offering what you're offering. What makes you different? What makes what you offer different from the rest of them?
I would say this. The uniqueness behind is that this is all time-tested stuff that has helped me out. It's easy to look at someone today and not recognize that 16 years ago, things were not going as well as they should. These things have really helped me out. And when you talk about this whole thing of manifesting your purpose, I don't think I would have been able to do it, Ava, if it wasn't for these soft skills. So it's not just some stuff in a book, it's stuff that I've actually used, stuff that I've had other people use, and thousands of people over the years have told me, listen, this stuff really does work. And I know it can work for them if they give it an opportunity. And I think also another uniqueness about it is that a person can decide today, I'm going to use these 5 skills. And the minute they decide to use them, there's an instant change. You don't need technology. You don't need another person. You don't need to buy anything else. It's just simply a matter of deciding, you know what, today is the day. Right now, I am about to cash in on my passions. Right now is the day of change for me. Right now is the new beginning. And it's just a matter of deciding to use them. And they're really designed to be with you for life. There is not a part 2. It isn't like, okay, next year you need to learn something else. These are, you talk about the whole thing about the house. These are foundational things. They're very much like the foundation of a house that once you learn these things, you continue to use them. They're with you for the rest of your life. They're life skills, not just something that we use for a temporary period in our lives and move forward. So I think that's one of the things behind it. This stuff really does work. And the minute that people say yes, that begins their metamorphosis and their change into moving to their greater selves. And it's helped me and so many other people. Ava, one of the things that inspires me is the emails and the chats afterwards. After the presentations, people in tears saying, thank you, handsome. This has really changed my life. Or people sending me emails saying, listen, I quit my job and I've decided to do this or that. So it's really something else to see the change in other people. And I think it's the evidence base. Recognizing the fact that this stuff really does work. It's helped me and so many other people. There's evidence to it. And it's just a matter of giving it an opportunity.
I love that because you know what I say, Anthony? I keep saying, this is just Ava personally. So those of us who are listening to the Purpose Walk podcast, this is my view. I believe that you cannot show me how to do something if you have not walked that walk. I believe that you can't teach me to do something. I can't teach my son to bake a cake if I've never baked one myself. So I think the fact that you've tried and tested it on yourself and other people, and that is enough evidence because this is not textbook stuff. This is real life experience stuff. And that is the best that you can offer anybody in this kind of space. So I really, really love that. And so, Anthony, we're wrapping down. We've got the hot seat now, which I know that you're not aware of. And I love it because if I told you, you'd be prepared. Now, in the hot seat, Anthony, what we really do, we throw you into the hot seat and we ask you to tell us one thing about yourself. And let me tell you some of the examples I've had so far. I've had somebody who belly danced for Obama. I've had somebody whose cousin is a drag queen. So you're going to have to top that and tell me one thing about you that the people you train and the people who are going to hear this and know you and come to know you in London don't already know about you.
Wow. Believe it or not, Ava, being a speaker that talks to thousands of people, I actually was a really shy kid, believe it or not. Wow. I was a really shy kid that was insecure, really didn't feel good about myself. And, there really were times that, one of the draws towards gang life was the fact that I could get shot. And there was a point in time where it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to be on this earth anymore. And so for some kids that decide to go that route, it's not just the violence and the money. Sometimes it's kids that want to be put out their misery. And there was a point where, I really thought about that. But thankfully, again, this is why the social capital management, mentors and teachers and social workers and other people showed me a different light. But not a lot of people know that the confident person that you see today wasn't always the case. And part of it, even to this day, there's that inner voice inside that says, hey, you're that poor kid from the east side of Cleveland. Hey, you can't do this. You can't do that. Hey, who's going to listen to you at Purposewalk? So it really does cause me, even to this day, to continue to use these skills to help me continue on my path to my greater self. So I think that that's something that on the outside people wouldn't necessarily see.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Anthony. I think all of us have that inner chatter, don't we? People like us who get into this space and are very sincere about it are normally people who've come from somewhere, who've gone under something, gone through something. And I just really respect and honor you for being able to share that, because that kind of authenticity is what Purpose Walk is about. Now that the hard part is off, this is the easy part that you love, and you're still in the hot seat. Can you tell us, give us, leave with us, drop for us one tip, one thing that you think we can use between now and the time we meet you at Purpose Walk? One tip from a social skill that could help a person listening right now, this moment, on the replay, whenever they grab this audio, that they could use to make their lives and businesses better.
Yes. Ava, I want to challenge everybody right now to create a cold sweat goal. A cold sweat goal. What I mean by that, if you think about a cold sweat, you wake up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat. And what's interesting, cold sweats come to us based upon a combination of fear and also a combination of excitement. Fear and excitement come together to create these cold sweats, psychologists tell us, that wakes us up in the middle of the night. All of us have within us a cold sweat goal. What's a goal that if you accomplish this thing, you'd scare yourself? What's a goal that if you accomplish this, you would be amazed at what you were able to do? I want us right now to think about, what is my cold sweat goal for 2017? Write out exactly what that goal is, but be very specific. Make it a measurable goal. Make it SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And I want everyone to write that goal out. Just start off with one. But I want them also, step two is to barnstorm. Barnstorming is this practice where people, before they had telephones and Twitters and all this, they literally would have meetings on the side of people's barns. And I would gather everybody at my barn and say, hey, everybody, here's what I want to do. So barnstorming means going to people within your village and say, listen, I got this cold sweat goal. I want to accomplish this. In 2017, I want my life to be this. I want to move people over here, and just bounce it off trusted people that you love and admire. It is amazing the feedback that folks will get. They will get people saying, hey, listen, you might want to talk to so-and-so. Hey, you know what? That's a great idea. You might want to add that. And the whole point is to birth your idea. Put it out there to your village. So first off, it becomes something that's known. But also share it so that people can help you. They can help you maintain accountability. They can connect you with other people. And so often it's that social support that's necessary for us to move to our greater selves. So 2 steps. First off, create that cold sweat goal. What's a goal that if you accomplish it, you'd scare yourself? But then also make sure the goal is SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And then step 2, barnstorming. Go find people in your village that you love and love you. Share your idea. And it's amazing the feedback that we'll get, the help that we'll get, and we birth that idea and put it out there. Once we put it out there, we got to do it.
Wow, Anthony, I love that. I saw a title for a book today that says it takes a village to raise the bar. It takes
Yes.
a village to raise the bar. And that's exactly what you're saying. And I love the coin of the word social capital management, because we've moved so far away from that village concept. And if more of us go back to that, especially with raising our children, then we will have better communities, better world, and ultimately our lives will be better. And there are so many people who, I think technology makes us feel like we're so on top of our game that we forget to go back to some of the old things that work, which is exactly what you're saying. Go back to the barn approach, where we go back, literally sit down around a table, have a chat with somebody who really care about you and share your ideas, because oftentimes they're going to give you the very truth about what you should do, how you should do, and who you should do with. And so, Anthony, I want to thank you for that. But before you run off, I want to tell my listeners, and especially people who are waiting on you from Purpose Walk, they don't want to wait until then. How can they connect with you now? So before now and then, how can we stay in touch to get more of this kind of juicy sauce?
Yes. Well, my website is www.anthonypresident.com. Check out my website. Feel free to reach out to me. Email me, ap@anthonypresident.com. ap@anthonypresident.com. And also check me out on Facebook, and it's Anthony Prez, P-R-E-S.
Thank you, Anthony. And guys, under the actual show, I'm going to have all of that information for you so you can connect with Anthony. I'm going to get all his website details, etc., so you can stay connected, because boy, there is some junk in this chunk right here. I made some notes here. I was writing down cold sweat goals. I was thinking, what is my cold sweat goal? And so you had me thinking, Anthony. So I really love that. I want to thank you for being here. We really appreciate and honor you for taking the time out. I know you're quite busy there in Cleveland, traveling and training and doing your stuff. So until Purpose Walk, Anthony, have a good evening, and thank you for saying yes to us.
Hey, thank you so much. It is my honor. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. Ciao,
Okay,
ciao.
take care. God bless.
Bye-bye.